1776 was an important year for both the Americans and the British. The American War for Independence had already destroyed many parts of the northern colonies and Canada. Trade routes had been disrupted, and the fabric of the global order was beginning to shift. Before the big campaigns of 1777 begin, I think it's important to take a look at the political situation from both sides in order to establish a better context for the events that will unfold very soon. For the Americans, 1776 was mostly a disaster. The beginning of the year started with the conclusion of the disastrous Quebec campaign. Disaster was only totally averted due to some quick thinking by Benedict Arnold, but for the most part it was an all-around, complete and utter failure. In New York, Washington's army was totally demolished, and the fledgling nation had just lost access to one of its biggest cities and ports, along with over half of the army sent to guard it. But the end of the year hadn't been too bad. There was indeed a silver lining. Washington's unorthodox attack during Christmas had forced the British to largely pull out of New Jersey, and had safeguarded the American capital in Philadelphia. Washington was in hot water before this, but his success had bought both himself and his new nation precious time. The American armed forces had bent, but were not yet broken, and they would not break, at least in the near future. For the Continental Congress, the main goal was, of course, winning the war. Perhaps its greatest need was the raising of additional forces. This they did accomplish, and over the early months of 1777, new units of regular and militia troops were dispatched to reinforce the armies in the field. Yet, the biggest goal for the Americans laid tantalizingly out of reach. They needed foreign support. While the French and the Spanish had been covertly sending war material, there still was no main ally for the nation. They needed someone with a lot of manpower and a powerful navy. The American goal this upcoming year was to stabilize their front lines, push the British off of American soil, and to secure foreign military support. On the British side, 1776 was one of great success. When war had broken out, the British government had understood that the process of waging war against the colonies would not be a short endeavor. Rather, it would be a long-term engagement. I already mentioned this in a previous video about Washington's New Jersey campaign, but the British had begun to mobilize German soldiers to help subsidize their manpower in the colonies. They had to garrison their whole empire, and were stretched thin. Things had almost become disastrous when the Americans were marching on Quebec City. The quick thinking by Guy Carleton had not stopped their advance. Things had become almost disastrous when the Americans were marching on Quebec City. The quick thinking by Guy Carleton had not just stopped their advance, but had pushed them all the way back to the Hudson Valley. This, combined with the capture of New York earlier in the year, created great staging grounds for attacks into the heartland and increased morale. See, unlike the Americans, the British involvement and victory in this war heavily relied on public opinion. As long as the public was on board, they could continue, and the only way for this would be if they could continue their string of victories. The British goals were this: split the colonies to end the rebellion, capture Washington's army, capture the rebel capital, and prevent any foreign actors from intervening. As we enter 1777, the year that could very well become the turning point of this war, both sides equipped themselves for what might be. Though, unlike last year, it would be the British, not the Americans, who would make the first attack.